A movie's trailer sometimes gives a lot about the movie. Before you watch the movie, you watch the trailer. And so does a Google map. Whenever you want to go to a particular place, you always find the way on the map and then you start. This video is going to be just that. Before you start your tax preparation, whether it's DT or income tax or the GST part of your CA Intertax, watch this video. I've already uploaded the video on GST preparation. This one is on DT or income tax preparation. Guys, your classes would have gone over long time back. You would have forgotten everything that is taught in a class, no matter how good or bad the faculty is. So my video, doesn't matter where you've gone and studied tax, my video is going to help you step by step how to start your preparation, how much time does it take to prepare, what all do I look at, how do you cover the module in the least amount of time, and how do you get exam ready. This video is going to cover all of that in a very short manner, guys. So welcome, my name is Sourabh Mutha. I run an academy called SMaT, as well as I'm teaching on Unacademy and a couple of other institutions in Mumbai and Bangalore to get you tax and to simplify tax for you at CA Inter and CA Final level. This video is tackling everything that is bothering you about your CA Inter exam preparation, especially the tax subject. So first up, let's address the elephant in the room. Tax is huge. Yes, tax is huge. But if you've seen my GST preparation video, you would have known what all to do and how do you secure your 40 marks in GST. I wanted to share that video first because that's how you're supposed to study. First, get your GST portion completed. Also in the exam, first attempt GST, smaller, much more manageable, and the questions are much easier because guys, GST was just 4 years old. So even the questions are limited. Next, we start with the humongous, the elephant income tax, or what popularly is called DT, for 60 marks. But don't worry guys, I'm going to give you a really nice heads up for everything on how to prepare this. Guys, it looks very big, but I'll tell you how to shorten it. So step by step on how to do income tax. First, in exactly 1 week to 10 days from now, I'm going to upload a revision video in which in about 4 to 5 hours, we will complete the entire portion with every possible shortcut, section, discussion, everything. We are going to upload this video. It's a 4-5 hour video. And that is the first step, guys, you need to do. That is the first step you need to watch. Not because I want any YouTube watch views, etc. Guys, not interested in that. This video is going to give you a very, very clear idea. And it's the trailer before you watch the movie. So if you've forgotten something from house property, or if you don't know how dividends are taxed, or if you don't know some deductions, or what exactly is TCS, if you've forgotten, this video will give you an entire idea about what the world you're going to enter. You can watch it with your book around, or you can watch it while on a walk, but just pay attention to what I'm talking in that video. That's the first thing you start off with. So the day you want to start your DT preparation, first thing is open YouTube, go to that video and watch that video. I'll share the link of that video in this same video. Also, if you're following my channel, you'll get an update of the video when I upload it. Once you've seen the video, then you go back to preparing and you can use any notes that you like. In my classes, I have a SMaT book, which I share. Plus, I give notes, handwritten notes in my classes. So if you've been my student, you have those notes already. So I'm going to talk about my notes, but you could be using any notes, no problem. As the first chapter that you will look at is the introduction chapter. I'm just giving you the order. And when I say when you do a chapter, how do you do it? You go through your notes first. And then if you're my student, you go through your book notes and you also go through the QUIK-Book. The QUIK-Book, if people don't know, is my version of a revision book. It's a very shortened book. GST is about 30 pages and entire income tax is about 40 or 50 pages, and it covers everything. I'll give you a glimpse of the QUIK-Book if we get some time in this. So you will first start off with the introduction chapter, the first chapter. You will go through the chapter. I'll tell you what all things you have to see for every chapter. So I'm just going to mark a star here and I'm going to tell you what all things. When I say do a chapter, what all will you do? First, whichever notes you have, you will go through them. It could be any of your faculty's notes. It could be any of your handwritten notes. You will go through them and you finish the chapter. Plus, you will do the questions which are there in your book. So example, my SMaT book has questions with answers. You will go through them. And then you will open the ICAI module. You will not read the entire module. You will either on the Google Drive link that is shared in this video. The Google Drive link has ICAI modules which are highlighted, only those parts if you want to read the ICAI module. But something that you have to do from the ICAI module is you have to do the ICAI module questions. So for every chapter, you will go through your notes, you will do the questions from your notes, and then you will do the ICAI module questions, and that's when you will call it an end. For people who are referring to my QUIK-Book covers the entire module. So if you're referring to my QUIK-Book, then you don't have to see the module, just go to the questions. After this chapter, the next chapter that you will go to is IFHP. Yes, guys, not how residential status, nothing else. IFHP, again, you will go through the notes, you will go to the questions, and you will go to module questions. If you want, you can go to the module highlighted also. Next, guys, after IFHP, you will go and do scope of income. Yes, that means which incomes are taxed for a resident, non-resident, etc. Even before you've done residential status, yes, this is what you will do next. And you will determine your scope of income, which includes 8 deemed incomes also. There was a 7-mark question in December 21 on deemed incomes. Next, you will go to agriculture income, which is not a separate chapter in the module, but it's a part of exempt income. But how is agriculture income taxed? What is composite income? What is scheme of partial integration? You will do that. Again, when I say you will do it, you will go through the notes, you will go through your my book or your book questions, and you will go to the ICAI module questions only. Yes, only module questions. Then you will go to exempt incomes. And under section 10, there are lots of incomes which are exempt. You will go through one incomes. If you don't know, watch my videos for shortcuts, guys. Every section has a shortcut. Like 4.2% is what non-residents earn in their bank account, because NRE account exemption is section 10.4.2. Like that, there are many shortcuts to exemption chapter, but that is the pattern. So introduction, then IFHP, then scope of income, agriculture income, exempt income, and then you will do residential status, which has section 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, how many days you've stayed in India, etc. After this, I'm going here. After you finish residential status, this, guys, has to be done with some other subject. So this is probably about 6 hours a day. You can do this along with something like law, which you can do for 3-4 hours, or audit you can do along with this. But keep one theory and keep this, because this has a lot of practical questions. So mix a theory with practical. I would ideally mix law or audit with tax. Once you finish residential status, the next thing that you attack is a chapter called IFOS. Yes, I know it is the last head of income. I know it, guys. But IFOS prepares you for PGBP. Things like cash payments, things like paying excessive or unreasonable payments, things like no TDS when you don't deduct TDS, the disallowance, all those can be covered in IFOS before you go to PGBP. Also, IFOS will cover gift taxation and dividend taxation. So do IFOS first. And the moment you do IFOS, to take a break from heads of income, you do clubbing of income next. Yes, I know what I'm talking about, guys. Clubbing of income happens after you do all the 5 heads of income, but there is no relationship, and you can do clubbing of income now also. Clubbing of income, pay special attention to minor children and spouse. This one is clubbing of income. After you do clubbing of income, so if you see carefully, I put one head of income and then I put others, and then I put another head of income and then I put some others. Then you do the humongous PGBP. But guys, PGBP, you have to pay close attention to the questions and the module questions. The questions are never asked like, this is a business, these are the incomes, these are the expenses. No, they already do the calculation these days. They give you a P&L account, they do the calculations, and they tell you to find out the total income. Basically, you have to see whether they've done the right thing or not. Typical adjustments are depreciation. They've either forgotten depreciation or they've done wrong depreciation. Opening, closing stock, they've done something wrong. They've taken some extra deduction, or they've taken not taken some deduction, or they've taken some other incomes like salary, IFOS, capital gains in your PGBP. So you have to segregate it out, and that's how you have to look at PGBP. You in PGBP are not going to be solving the sum, you're going to be checking the sum which ICAI has given you. After you finish PGBP, that is another head of income, you will do set off and carry forward. Guys, this chapter is something that will not require any other knowledge. So straight after PGBP, you can do set off, and that's a good break between 2 heads of income, because otherwise it gets a little heavy. And once you finish set off is the next leg. You will do capital gain. Capital gain, again, guys, is a huge chapter. Don't focus on things like section 47, which says these transactions are not subject to transfer, because that is never asked in ICAI exam. ICAI exam is very, very plain and simple. They will check whether you can calculate the capital gain. So can you identify the asset? Can you see it's a transfer? Can you sense that the sale consideration? Can you find out cost? Can you find out indexation? And then can you get the exemption? That is what they check. And the last head of income, which is the most least asked head. Some people find it very complicated, but let me tell you guys, salary is the least asked head of income ever. Out of the 5 heads, in fact, forget the 5 heads, out of other chapters also, this is the least asked head. And just one second. So this is the least asked head of income, and hence don't pay so much attention to salaries. I don't want to tell this to you guys because it will dip your attention, but salaries is not something that is asked. There are many years where not even one small thing has been asked from salaries. So don't worry too much about salaries. Especially retirement benefits is not a big deal. So do it as the last head of income. Don't confuse yourself as the first. And once, because you've already done clubbing and set off, you straight go to GTI. GTI, of course, there is no chapter like GTI. But after that, you do deductions. Guys, every deduction has a shortcut. Like 80D, 80DD, 80DDB has a shortcut for sections. 80G, 80GGA, GGB, GGC, all of them have shortcuts. If you don't know, watch out my revision lectures and watch out this video, which will help you give the shortcuts as well. Once you're done with the deductions, the most important chapter, yes guys, not any other chapter is as important as the next chapter, which is basically TDS and TCS. Guys, every year without fail, a 6 to 9 mark question comes from this chapter, and hence I feel that people don't pay so much attention to TDS, TCS. People don't pay so much attention to IFHP or set off. But just one second. But it is one of the most important heads of income, TDS, most important chapter, TDS and TCS. Once you finish that, then life is very, very smooth. There is a chapter called return of income, which a lot of people ignore. But please, guys, the last question of 4 marks is always on return of income. Why do you want to ignore it? Especially now, because there are some recent changes with respect to belated return and revised return. So do this chapter well. It's a small chapter. And once you finish all of this, guys, you will do computation of income, which is not a new chapter, guys. Anyone who feels computation of income is a different chapter, it is not. It is only that they will give you an individual who's a resident, non-resident. They'll give you different incomes. You'll have to do all the incomes. You'll have to go to gross total income minus the deductions, do all the calculation, and that summing up of all the chapters is called computation of income. And guys, while you do this, with every chapter, you have to do me one favor. You have to do one rates of tax. Example, when you do introduction, do rates of tax for resident individual. When you finish IFHP, do rates of tax for non-resident individual. When you finish scope of income, do rebate. When you finish agriculture income, do surcharge. When you finish exempt income, do HEC. And when you finish residential status, do income for HUF, taxability of HUF. So rates of tax, guys, is something that you cannot do at one go. You will go wrong. So you have to go steady, and one by one, you have to do that. Now, once you finish all of this, this is where you finished your entire book. Now, step number 3. Guys, step number 3 is the doubt in your mind that am I reading from the right notes, especially for people who are giving an exam after they've given December exam. Now they're giving the May or the November exam. So you always feel, are my books updated? Have I done all the amendments? And for that, guys, I'm going to be uploading again in about 1 or 1.5 hours. I'm going to be uploading a YouTube video which covers, again, I'll share the link in this, and I also uploaded my YouTube channel, the Finance Act 2020 amendment and the Finance Act 2021 amendment. Guys, by the way, you know that this budget which just came out 5 days back, this has no relationship of the 2022 budget, has no relationship to the 2022 exams. So for your exam, that is in 2022, whether you're giving May or November, the Finance Act 2020 and 2021 are the most relevant. Why the 2 years? Because even 2020 is still new. So I'm going to upload a video which revises all the concepts and the changes which have happened in these 2 years, because sometimes ICAI just focuses on amendments. And once you're done with all of this, guys, please, please, please do more questions on RTP and MTP. This is what you will prepare yourself with. So first video will take 4-5 hours of the first day. Next, when you start doing chapters, do one chapter, do something else, do one chapter, do something else. That's how we'll have to break it up. Bigger chapters like clubbing and PGVP, you'll have to break into two parts. And then you will do more RTP, MTP questions. And when I say, guys, when you do chapters, you have to practice 3 sums compulsory from every chapter. So let's say you finish IFHP, solve 3 sums. It could be any 3 sums. And when I say solve, you've got to literally take a paper, pen, ruler and start solving. And no test series, etc. can help you if you don't want to help yourself. You have to solve 3 questions per chapter. Nothing more, guys. Not even one more. You have to just solve 3 questions per chapter. So this is your step number 4. So in 4 steps, you will finish your exam preparation. And now time for what do you do in the second revision? Or if you're studying this for the first time, then what do you do in the revision? Guys, in the revision, you don't do this entire process again. In the revision, again, you watch the YouTube video for about 4-5 hours, which gives you an entire snapshot of DT. Step 2, you go through the QUIK-Book. And while you go through the QUIK-Book, wherever the question comes in the QUIK-Book, you go and solve the question. So QUIK-Book and questions. The QUIK-Book, guys, will save a lot of your time on revision and let you focus more on questions. So here, the QUIK-Book will take about 40% of your time and questions will take about 60% of your time. And this is your revision. And now what happens one day before the exam? That day, which is the ultimate day, which is the make or break day. Don't worry, guys. Same thing. Of course, you'll not have time to watch the YouTube for 5 hours. So you start off with the QUIK-Book. The QUIK-Book has to be finished in about 4 hours or 3 hours. Basically, very, very quick time you need to finish the QUIK-Book. And then you have to only focus on questions. So that day, about 25% QUIK-Book and 75% questions. Guys, my aim is for you to progressively reduce revision burden on the concepts and more focus on the sums. Guys, people get very surprised in the exam because all they've done is revise, and they've not focused on the questions, and that's why the questions seem very surprising. The moment you do module questions, book questions, just one second. The moment you do module questions, book questions, you will realize that how smooth the exam questions look like. And guys, a couple of things. So this is the first time you do, this is the revision, and this is before the exam. And just a couple of pointers that you have to keep in mind. First, don't miss any chapter, guys. You don't have to miss any chapter. And you have to be prepared for some surprises, guys. This is the CA inter exam. There are out of 100 marks, there will be about 10 to 15 marks which are going to be difficult. So don't worry about those 15 marks. Focus on the 85 marks. What happens is in the exam, when you come prepared and you feel I'm going to know the entire paper and 15 marks come difficult, they spoil your 85 marks. So guys, mentally prepare yourself, tune yourself and tell yourself that this 15 marks are going to be difficult, but what I'm aiming for are those 85 marks. Reach out to me if you have any questions. I just want to show you a glimpse of the QUIK-Book so you understand what I'm talking about. Let me show you the QUIK-Book, please. So this, guys, is my QUIK-Book. This QUIK-Book, I'm just going to give you a glimpse of this QUIK-Book here. This QUIK-Book is about 60 pages and it basically has a lot of shortcuts, etc. I'm just going to take you to one chapter in the QUIK-Book to show you how the chapter works. Here, let's take residential status and scope of income. So they've explained the residential status concept here. Dear income, etc. are all shortcuts which are explained. Everything in blue is a shortcut only for you and me to remember. And as and when you come across some chapter, some concept, like here, they've spoken about scope of income. So they've given you exam questions and CA illustrations. So you can just go to that question, solve it. So your concept and your question is over. Same with residential status, again, exam question and illustrations. Same way here also, everywhere ICAI questions and RTP is also linked so that whenever you finish a concept, you do the questions and you're well versed. That means, guys, you're spending less time on the chapter revision and more time on questions. I'll give you more examples here. Not agriculture income, not exempt income, but let's take any one head of income. Let's take income from other sources. So while income from other sources is discussed here, there is ICI illustration. There is ICI illustration, there are ICI question numbers, November 2019 question. Whenever there is a question that has been referenced, ICI illustration, RTP question, so that you spend less time worrying about what is the question that is asked from this chapter and looking at more questions. So make sure that you go from question mark on how to prepare DT to an exclamation mark that yes, I know how to prepare for DT. For anything else, guys, reach out. What I'm going to do is the link to my Google Drive, I'm going to put in this video. Also, I'm going to put whenever I upload the videos of the revision of DT 5 to 6 hours, as well as the Finance Act amendment video, I will also upload it here. So you get a great idea about it. All the best, guys. I'm with you. Reach out for any difficulty with respect to tax. Yes, let's do this.